Welcome back, everybody. We are down to our top three, and we are starting off with our winners bracket finals action. We have Linyvine versus Toth 201, and I'm really excited to see how this goes. Both of them have fought their way through without dropping a match so far. We have, well, let's take a look at the deck list here. We haven't seen Toth on camera at all, so let's see if we can get him in quickly. Ace, take us away.
So Toth is running another Vault deck. This time it's 3-faction splashing Primal to the Fire Time base for Shimmer Pack. So Shimmer Pack is a unit that, when it's summoned, lets you turn any number of target units into 4/4s, both yours and your opponent's. So you can upgrade all of his little 1/1 Grenadin into big, frightening 4/4 Shimmer Packs. And this deck looks like it'll be pretty good against Armory, because Armory is based on single target removal with relic weapons, and going super wide is very good against them. Like if you play a Grenadin drone, your opponent attacks it with the Sword of Icaria, well, then you're going to get to attack back with the other Grenadin and destroy that 3-mana sword with your 1-cost Grenadin and still have a 1/1 left over.
Well, we're going to see how it performs as we are in game. So let's jump down to that. We're starting off looking from Linyvine's perspective. He's got an interesting hand. No fire influence, but the Seek powers do fix that pretty quickly. Looking over to Toss perspective, he's got a pretty high cost hand. He already has 2 of his power out there, but most of his stuff costs 4 or more. He's got he's got that now 6 cost scouting party that he's a pretty long way from casting. So we'll see if he can get up to that now. Linyvine, for his part, starts out with a pretty good turn to Artisan, but is met with 3 1/1 Grenadins from an assembly line from Toth. He does have a Harsh Roll, which should be able to reset himself somewhat, but Toth has a bit of a chance to go on the aggressive here.
Yeah, Laney's going to take a lot of damage before he can Harsh Rule here. And Rakano Artisan, as a 2/1, isn't very good at blocking these 1/1s. Although I suppose they're 2/2s now. So even though it's the same unit, it feels a little less bad blocking with it.
Yeah, and I think he certainly needs to here. The Harsh Roll can reset, and you can play with your life total a bit with Armory, but you definitely don't want to get too far behind and let your life total drop too low. The problem is you really want to be saving that Harsh Rule until later in the game when your opponent plays Scouting Party, as that is one of the most annoying cards against you. But honestly, I don't think that Linyvine's going to be able to wait that long.
Yeah, if Toth follows up this Harsh Rule with a Scouting Party, Lenny is going to need to draw another Harsh Rule immediately, or he's going to get crushed. The main problem is that he didn't draw any relic weapons, so his Smuggler's Stash isn't doing very much work here, just returning a couple of weak units that are just going to trade for tokens.
Interesting that he decides to just pass the turn there. I would have thought that playing the Armorsmith out just as a 2/2 blocker would have been better to doing nothing at all, but it's possible that he's saving it in order to combo with a relic weapon later in the game.
And holding the Harsh Rule, very patient. And I think he's going to get paid off for that. He is able to get another unit with that Harsh Rule, an Initiate of the Sands. But that Scouting Party is still looming, and Toth has 6 power for it. And it's going to draw him another card off the Vault of the Praxis.
Oh, which looks like he drew a Marison's Disciple, which he's going to play instead of the Scouting Party, still holding on to that, which still puts a ton of pressure on Linyvine and forces him, even if he did draw the Harsh Rule, he probably needs to play it again almost immediately, as his draws are not working out.
Yeah, Treasury Gate Pass is not really what you want when you're facing down 7 power from 2 units. It looks like Linyvine is not long for this world.
I don't mind that play there, because you're sort of all in on drawing a relic weapon next turn, playing it, and playing the Armorsmith and sort of stabilizing that way. But unfortunately, Toth did have the 3rd power necessary in order to boost up his units, and he just takes them out.
So yeah, a surprise jump from 6 to 8 with that Initiate of the Sands.
So let's look back over at Linyvine's deck and see what he can do to sort of turn this match around in his favor.
Well, a good place to start is with a full set of Ruins. That'll be able to take out all of the obelisks and all of the vaults. that Toth is bringing to bear, making his token army a little more manageable. I imagine he also brings in the Plague to sweep them up, and maybe even the Steward of the Past just to hold the ground a little bit better and be able to block all of those little 1/1 units.
Do you think that sort of clunky spells like the Death Strike come out?
Yeah, I imagine the Death Strike is definitely coming out. There are basically no good targets for that. Even some of the cheaper relic weapons like Sword of Icaria aren't very effective unless they have an armor boost from the Armor Smith. With no Roland's favor in Linny's deck, just Sword of the Icaria just isn't going to do very much good work on turn 3.
Yeah, I think this is certainly a difficult matchup for Linyvine, especially since he's only included the single copy of Plague between his main deck and sideboard. He really needs more of that mass removal in order to really contest all the stuff that Toth is putting out. That said, if he can get a pretty good aggressive turnaround, and sort of go artisan into armor smith into a couple other relic weapons to sort of keep the board clear, it's possible um, that he can push his way through. But I think it's really going to be hard, especially since Linyvine has single card ways to reload with stuff like that scouting party up at the top end.
Yeah, and so for game 2, they are not going to sideboard yet since this is best of 5. So maybe during the next game we'll get a better idea of what cards aren't performing as well as you would have hoped, and we'll get sideboarded out.
Ooh. Okay, so it looks like we are hopping back down into the game here. I see it on the hand cam. So let's get that back up on the main screen. So Toth is up one game, and it looks like he's also on the play here. How lucky.
Yeah, I think that what Linyvine needs to win here is a Treasury Gate and then a steady stream of Relic Weapons so that he can take out the tokens while still having blockers back so the Relic Weapons don't get immediately removed.
Interesting. So you think he needs to leave the Treasury Gates in this matchup?
Yeah, I think that's the only way he can keep up with the sheer numbers of unit production that the Shimmer Pack deck can put out.
Well, unfortunately, he's got sort of a misplaced hand here, as he's missing his red sources and has 0 castable spells in his hand at this time. He's going to need to peel probably a Fire Sigil pretty soon if he wants to have a chance at all.
Yeah, or any sigil that'll come into play undepleted really will allow him to scheme for it, because then he has a harsh rule to possibly recover. And an Inspire might help, but no luck yet.
Well, if he survives that long, he does have a harsh rule to reset the board, and Toss doesn't have the most aggressive start. He's getting in for 2, but then he followed up with an 0-2 and a 1-1. It's not really beating down that quickly. This scheme finds a Seek Power, which it accelerates Linyvine on his way and allows him to keep playing out his power. So if Toth continues
Toth's hand is pretty poor. Like his clock is anemic with just 3 damage per turn, and he has 2 very weak permafrosts for this matchup stuck in his hand.
Linyvine also draws the very crucial 5th power that's going to allow him to reset the board with the Harsh Rule, and honestly, with how slow the clock's been, it looks like he's going to be able to catch that scouting party before the Shimmer Pack comes down and really take away all the pressure that he's under.
Yeah, this Harsh Rule is going to clean up this initial flood, and then he has 2 Relic Weapons to hopefully be able to clean up the rest of the tokens.
Interesting that he didn't go for a sort of Icaria play there. He has a lot of expensive cards in hand, and it's possible that he could have just wanted to call the flood to hold on to his Harsh Rule longer. But like you said, it's possible that he's waiting to use those relic weapons after the reset. But I personally would have gone with a sort of Icaria plus Torchblade to sort of clear out all the 1/1s before they get too threatening.
So here, since his Auric Runehammer is bumped up to a 5/2 by that Inspire, he could use it to kill a 1/1 and then torch another 1/1 and have the Auric Runehammer survive until his next turn to get a second attack out of it.
No, but he decides to just go for
But it looks like he's just going to go for the board clear. And that makes sense. He does have a lot of removal in his hand, so he can probably clear out this wave of Yetis from the scouting party. Oh, though first comes down a Storm Dancer, which is a prime target for that Rune Hammer. So Linny's patience is really being rewarded this game.
Yeah, and he's even got 2 torches to keep that Runehammer safe. He should be able to start smacking Toth for 5 pretty quickly. But the scouting party comes down, and, well, it shouldn't get too many draws, or any, actually, with those. Linny can go with all 3 of his single target removal spells using even that Death Strike, and with the Armor Smith, none of the Yetis are going to be able to get through.
Yeah, and he's actually looking really great right now. If he draws a fire source, a fire sigil specifically, so it comes into play undepleted, Linny's going to be able to slam that Ikaria, and Toph is going to have a very difficult time dealing with her.
Well, Toss got these 3 Shimmer Packs stranded in hand, which don't look very good on an empty board, and that Permafrost isn't going to be able to do anything about an Ikaria when she comes
Yes.
down.
She has endurance, so she is immune to stun effects.
And also an Aegis to protect her even more. And he does find the fire source, so the First Lady of Eternal is going to be coming down.
In all of her flying, charging, Aegis, Warcry 5 glory.
So
Is there anyone who doesn't love Ikaria? She's just so cool.
I don't like to speak ill of co-casters, but there's this neon blonde guy that's on Team Seraph, and we don't see eye to eye on that one, I'm afraid.
I mean, Seraph is cool, but there's this card called Idol of Destron that exists,
Yeah.
whereas Ikaria never misses.
So speaking more to practical game terms, interestingly, if Toth had an additional power and some time, he could play Shimmer Pack twice to transform Ikaria eventually into into another copy of Shimmer Pack, which, trust me, is certainly a downgrade. But it looks like the Ikaria is just going to clock him out, as he does draw that huge buffed up Orc Runehammer immediately. I don't think that Toth is going to have any time to deploy his threats, but possibly some good draws here could help him out.
Well, the relic weapons are never actually going to get through to hit Toth's face with all the little tokens in play. So it's just a matter of if this Ikaria can attack 3 times before Toth is able to deploy 2 Shimmer Packs.
Mm-hmm. And so far, the answer to that question looks like yes, since there's no Shimmer Pack coming down this turn. There is one coming down next turn, but with all the armor that Linny's getting from his weapons, he's not going to die in the meantime. So I think he'll have time.
Oof, an 8/7 Rakano Artisan.
That's a big 2-drop.
Yeah, certainly worth the 2 power that you pay for him, I'd say.
And Linyvine smartly takes out the Initiate, which would have given Toth the potential of a +2/+2 obelisk, boosting up his guys even further. I think
Looks like Shimmer Pack 1 is going to come down here and remove that Aegis, downgrade the Rakano Artisan into a 4/4, and pump all of Toth's units up. So we might have a real race on our hands here.
Well, Ikaria can block one of the 4/4s, and the other 4/4 can trade, but he's still taking 12 damage, which will put him to 6, and Ikaria doesn't end the game here. So you certainly could be correct that Toth may have had enough time in order to deploy all these Shimmer Packs. That those card draws from the scouting party were certainly instrumental in getting him back into this.
So Linny is not blocking with his Shimmer Pack here, just going down to 2 life so that any weapon top deck will win him the game. Oh, no, he does block.
Well, Toth would have had another Shimmer Pack anyways. That's not good. That's a dead Lenny.
That's game. His Ikaria attacked 4 times and it wasn't good enough.
Wow. Shimmer
See that
Pack
every day.
maybe stronger than Ikaria, I guess. That's what that looked like there. Interesting.
Wow. You don't often see an Ikaria attack multiple times and not win the game. That was incredible.
Okay, let's go look at this wonderful madness of a Shimmer Pack list and see what the heck is going on here. Okay. Well, we've got 2 ruins in the sideboard, which you have to think are a no-brainer about bringing in against Armory, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you want to go real deep, you can even bring in Ephemeral Wisp to block a relic weapon every turn, but I don't think he wants to go that deep. I think just the ruins are going to come in here.
Hmm. So polymorph, probably not that good. Crystallize, probably not that good. Backlash. I mean, backlash is a consideration, right? Your opponent has harsh rules, a single plague. Do you think that Toth goes for that more defensive, protect your board kind of game plan?
I suppose he could. He's so advantaged in game one, he doesn't really need to sideboard much. So probably just take out the permafrosts and put in a mixture of ruin and backlash.
Yeah, I guess you do have those three permafrost that you don't really want, so you have the pick of the litter in terms of your sideboard. The rest of the deck, though, it looks pretty good to beat up on that armory deck, as we saw there. Even with Akari out there, wasn't enough.
Yeah, maybe Shimmer Pack is better than Seraph and Ikaria.
Oh man, somebody call Tess, get her in here. We
I
have
won't go that far. I'm still on Team Ikaria.
well, I don't know about you, but we have an Ikaria and a Shimmer Pack battling it off in the winners finals, and no Seraph to be found. So I think, if anything, we've answered one question. And we're back into game three. Toth
Starting
is
here.
up 2-0, so Linyvine has his winners brackets hopes on the line. Of course, if he is not successful in this game, he will drop down to losers finals to face Kampfgrote. Um,
Who he knocked out in earlier in the bracket, I believe.
and who defeated him in the last chance qualifier to take the higher seed just yesterday. So there's a lot of history between those two, and it will be not the first time they've played for sure. Here, Linyvine's got
Another
two.
good opener.
Well,
Couple of Grenadin, able to block and trade with that Rakano Artisan, able to blunt the effectiveness of any sort of Ikaria that Linyvine draws.
once again, Toth's got an expensive hand, but he seems to have time to deploy it. He's got the power search, and the Amber Acolyte, and it looks like he's going to be able to boost his way up. Linyvine doesn't have anything in terms of clock, and he doesn't, well, he draws the second Justice for the harsh rules, so he can reset the board twice, but he's not putting Toth under any pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, I think against this Shimmer Pack deck, you can clear the board as many times as you want, and he's never going to run out of gas. He has Scouting Party, he has Vault of the Praxis. He just has tons and tons of ways to keep playing the game forever if he's not under any pressure.
Well, unfortunately, Auric Runehammer looks kind of silly here. It can take out a 2-1, but then it just trades with a 1-1. But that might honestly be what Linyvine needs to do in order to, keep in this game.
Yeah, and this is exactly why this Shimmer Pack deck is good against Armory. If your Relic weapons can't get 2-for-1s because there are too many small units, Armory can never pull ahead. And he is going to do it. So he just used his weapon to kill a 2-1 unit that already drew a power for Toth, and he's going to die. Then the weapon is going to die to the second half of Toth's 1-drop. That's just not an efficient exchange in cards or in power.
No, not at all. And it looks like our hands have gotten a little bit desynced again, but not too much. Here, you have to play out the Armor Smith, right? But you're
It
not going
blocks
to
both
harsh
the
rule.
units that are out there right now.
You're not going to harsh rule to 2-1-1s.
I
Okay.
think he might be looking to just take two per turn for a while, and then Harsh Rule and then Armor Smith, but no, he runs it out. This way, Toth is forced to play another token producer, and then Linyvine can Harsh Rule it all the way.
Yeah, it looks like he decides to go with the scouting party. Oh no, he goes with the Storm Dancer first. Interesting.
Now Lenny is wishing that he'd save that Auric Runehammer to kill that 3-4, and he's forced to Harsh Rule away that flyer that was just a power from Toth.
Especially since it could have gotten that armor buff from Auric Runehammer to keep it going, right?
Yeah, once the Runehammer is a 4-3, you're definitely looking at a 2-for-1 with it. And now he's going to have to Harsh Rule again immediately to kill these Yetis. Otherwise, Toth is going to draw 4 cards and pull impossibly far ahead.
We seem to be having some streaming issues here, but
All right, so the good news for Linyvine here is that after he Harsh Rules away all these Yetis, Toth doesn't actually have anything frightening in hand. He just has a couple of Shimmer Packs, which are not very good as just 7 power 4/4s. And Linny even has a Death Strike to kill the first one.
well, they both
So
have.
if Toth draws poorly, Linny can get back in this game.
And a Scorpion Wasp is not quite the threat that you want it to be against Armory. A little 1-1. The deadly doesn't really matter when you're just hitting it with your face anyways, most of the time.
What do you think about ambushing this Scorpion Wasp just to attack for one?
I think it's okay. He had those shimmer packs in hand, right? So he just really wants units on board to turn into 4/4s, and it takes away it chips away at the armor, right? Which is really the thing that you want to get rid of against armory. If armory doesn't have any armor to keep its weapons around longer, it loses a lot of its power.
That's true. And his armor was gonna do some good here, but then his Orc Runehammer was destroyed by a Ruin. Runehammer protects you from damage, but it doesn't protect you from attachment removal.
Right. And that ruin looked a whole lot better than the one that Linyvine's got sitting in his hand. Toth just hasn't drawn anything to make it good, but maybe this plague can turn it around? It looks like he's holding on to it.
Oh, and he's gonna get punished because Toth just played his 7th power and it was depleted. And now that it's undepleted, he's gonna be able to slam a Shimmer Pack and make a bunch of 4/4s. So this anemic 3 damage a turn clock turns into an 8 damage a turn clock, and he's gonna be dead next turn.
Well, the hand cam's showing that we've finished the game. It looks like, yeah, and we're back.
If I had to guess, Linny played the plague to reduce those Shimmer Packs to 3/3s, took 9 damage down to 3 health, and then conceded when he didn't draw his 3rd harsh rule.
Yes, that is quite likely. I'll confirm with the players, but it seems most likely that that's what happened. And it looks like Linyvine will be dropping to, yeah, okay. So we have confirmed of a 3-0. So Toth will be moving into the grand finals on the winner's side, and Linyvine will be having his his second rematch, I suppose, with Confcroat in the losers bracket finals in just a moment. So we will be going to a quick break, and then we will be getting back in with that match very shortly.